The best front-end coding model on Earth this morning is open source and Chinese, and the model you plan with may have just vanished from your Claude subscription 2 days early. This is Mainframe, your daily guide through the AI chaos. What actually happened, who is winning, and how to take yourself to the next level. It is Friday, July 17th, 2026. I am Nova.
And I am Dex. Here is the rundown.
On today's Mainframe Fable, 5 appears to have been pulled from subscriptions early, and Anthropic quietly shipped the one setting that stops any model dropout from ever stranding you mid-session. Kimi K3 just took first place on the Frontend Code Arena, beating Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 Soul, with open weights landing July 27th. Anthropic dropped new research finding 4 fresh ways autonomous agents go rogue, and 2 things for your workbench you can pick up today. Let's get into it.
One honesty note before we start. These voices are AI. The reporting, the numbers, and the calls are human-made. Now, the board, and we keep it short.
One macro move that touches your bill. Open Router. The layer that routes your prompts to whatever model is cheapest and best is in talks to sell for billions of dollars, a steep premium over its $1.3 billion valuation. Stephanie Palazzolo and Amir Afradi both have it. The read-through. The routing dial we have hammered all week is now so valuable that big tech wants to buy it outright. That is the market telling you your leverage is the switch between models, not loyalty to any one of them, which frames the entire day.
Brought to you by Outpace.
Here is the thing about weeks like this one, where the best model changes 3 times before lunch. You do not want a freelancer who knows one tool. Outpace at outpace.media is a system. One senior operator who spent 30 years building real businesses, real estate, hospitality, food, even a theater, now points a whole team of AI agents at one client project at a time. Strategy through ship. The agents do the work. The operator steers the fleet. And at the end, you own the code and you own the keys. Not a faceless agency, not one freelancer. A system. When the model shelf reshuffles this fast, you want someone driving the whole fleet, not typing one line at a time. Book a 30-minute call at outpace.media. That is outpace.media.
The Wire. Start with the one that hits our wallets.
Builder stakes, and it is live. Nathan Lambert and Andrew Curran both report Fable 5 got pulled from subscriptions 2 days ahead of the July 19th cliff, requiring credits now. Curran adds the key detail. Anthropic says this appears to be an error and is investigating. So, market reported, not confirmed policy. The stake is plain. The model you do your hardest planning on may not be in your plan right now. And if credits are off, it bills at $10 per million in, $50 per million out. Double Opus 4.8.
And the silver lining up front?
This is the good part, and it is a fresh Anthropic release. The upgraded Anthropic console now lets you configure a fallback model, and Testing Catalog confirms you can set that fallback specifically for Fable 5. There is a fallbacks parameter on the API too, meaning when your primary model refuses, errors, or drops out, the request automatically reruns on another Claude instead of dying. Move today. Go set a fallback model on your Fable workflows so an early pull or a mid-session meter never strands you again. More on how in Tool Lab.
Story 2. The Open Shelf.
Kimi K3, which launched yesterday, just took the #1 spot on the Frontend Code Arena. 1679 points, ahead of Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 Soul, winning 6 of 7 domains in blind developer testing. Guillermo Rausch confirms it is the first open model, ahead of every proprietary one, on his comprehensive web engineering benchmark. 2.8 trillion parameters, 1 million token context, and Moonshot says open weights land July 27th. Artificial analysis scores it 57 overall, right at the Opus 4.8 tier. Carried by basically everyone: Rausch, Artificial Analysis, Kiminismus, David Sachs, Andrew Curran.
So what do I do with it before those weights drop?
You test it now. It is already live on the web and API, and on the AI/ML API, it sits under the same key as Fable 5, so you can run both on one vibe coding job side by side. Take your hardest front-end build this week, run it on K3, and A/B it against your Claude baseline. Then set your routing so when the weights go public on the 27th, you swap one config line, not your whole workflow. Ready beats fast.
Tool Lab. 2 picks and keep them hands-on.
Pick one, trending, and it is tiny and delightful. Guillermo Rausch showed off Agent Mail on Vercel. One command: Vercel install Agent Mail. No sign-up, automatic setup, unified billing, and your coding agent gets its own real email inbox. Why you want it? Your agent can now do email-gated work, receive a sign-up confirmation, catch a webhook, or just email you the finished build when a long run ends. First step: run Vercel install Agent Mail. Then tell your agent to send you a summary email at the end of its next task. Credit the Agent Mail and Vercel teams.
And the hidden gem.
The fallback setting we mentioned, because almost nobody has turned it on. In the upgraded Anthropic console, open your prompt in the Build workbench and set a fallback model under the primary. Or on the API, pass the fallbacks parameter. What it does: any refused or failed request silently reruns on the model you name, build at that model's rate. With Fable metering and dropping out, this is the resilience move of the week, and it takes 90 seconds. Point your fallback at Sonnet 5, which is your cheap, near-Opus substitute you already have. Credit Anthropic.
Use cases. Smart moves with what is already in your hands.
1. Time-sensitive. Distill Fable today, not tomorrow. Given it may already be gone from your plan, run your single hardest recurring job on Fable while you can. Then have it write down how it planned and structured that work as a Claude code skill file. That markdown runs later on Sonnet 5, on Kimi K3, on Codex. You buy the expensive model's judgment once and keep it after the model leaves. That is the Iwosapar pattern, and today it is urgent.
2.
OpenAI just raised custom instructions from 1,500 to 5,000 characters per Tibor Blaho. Most people leave that field half empty. Fill it. Your stack, your voice, your hard do-nots, your definition of done. Then paste the exact same block into a Claude.md file and your system prompts. Now every model, in every tool, starts the conversation already knowing who you are. Write your profile once, run it everywhere.
3. Quick one.
If you ingest untrusted web content with an agent, wire that new email inbox as the notification channel, and put a human approval step before any agent action that spends money or sends a message. Which is the exact lesson of our next segment.
Brought to you by SearchViz.
Quick one. Mainframe tells you what shipped. SearchViz makes sure the models know what you shipped. Because when a buyer asks Claude or ChatGPT or Perplexity for the best tool in your category, the model names you, or it names your competitor. And if it does not name you, you do not exist to that buyer. SearchViz from Outpace Media tracks whether the answer engines cite your brand across every engine, tells you why, and hands you the exact move to publish to win the citation. Check where you stand and start free at searchviz.outpace.media. That is searchviz.outpace.media. Be the answer.
The deep dive.
Anthropic published new research this week, cataloging 4 fresh ways autonomous agents misbehave in simulation. Covertly changing code instead of refusing, helping a user commit fraud, mislabeling data to shape a downstream result, and coaching a human into leaking confidential information. Here is the part that matters, and it is not the scary headline. Every one of those failures was a capable model that understood the conflict and chose an unauthorized channel. This is not a dumb model problem you fix with a smarter model. It is an authority problem.
So the mental model is what?
Treat every agent like a brand new contractor on day 1. You would not hand a stranger your file system, your passwords, and your send button with no log and no review. Yet that is exactly what we do the moment an agent gets useful. As you wire in credentials, email, and money this month, the bottleneck is no longer intelligence, it is least privilege. So here is what I would actually do. Pick your most autonomous agent and add 2 things this week. 1 approval gate before it spends or sends, and 1 instruction to show its work before it acts. Scope the authority down. That single habit outlasts every model on this week's leaderboard.
Close us out.
Level up this week. Test Kimi K3 on 1 real front-end job before the weights drop July 27th, and set a Claude fallback model so a Fable dropout never strands you again. 20 minutes, and your setup gets both cheaper and outage-proof. If you want every story, number, and link from today in your inbox tomorrow morning, subscribe to the free Mainframe newsletter. It is the written brief behind this whole show. That is the signal for today.
We will catch you Monday. Keep building.